Hey guys, how's it going? I've received a couple of requests on the Steam forum to showcase Heresy a little bit, and I'm going to use it as an opportunity really to resurrect the video series that I got started on YouTube, posted 5 different videos about various things like building, the combat, the general feel of the game, where I was taking things. And I stopped doing that really because on the TIG source forums, where I was posting a lot of stuff, people just said, hey, we'd rather read this stuff than put it into a video format. But now that it's up on Steam, it's released there in early access, I think it might make sense to bring this back, at least for the time being. But anyway, the build that I'm going to be running is the unstable dev build. What I do is when I post a new build, I put it first in the unstable dev build just to bug check, go over and make sure that everything works. If you want access to this, then in your games library, just click on games, right click on this, go to properties. In the beta tab, it gives you access to, the default is the 64-bit version, which will automatically download. There's also a 32-bit version if anyone's having problems running the 62-bit version. And then there's the unstable dev build, which I've already downloaded today's build, the 0.16. But bringing up Heresy, running it here, shows it's the game's built in Unity. You have your screen resolution, graphics quality, the monitor you want to run it on, windowed mode, and then the inputs if you want to change those as well. Which I'm not going to go over, but at least you know it's there. And if you need to use it, it is there. But if we jump into the actual game, well, what is Heresy first? I guess that's a good place to start. It's an RTS RPG. It allows you to play the game just like your standard RPG, but you can also take control and possess any single one of your followers to then do the exact same actions that you could have the AI do for you, which comes into play with combat and things like that, repositioning of troops, all that stuff. I really want a game that allows you to do it as a tactical commander and also as an individual player like your standard RPG. But where's a good place to start? I'm just going to run, I should probably mention what all these things do. Tutorial, don't worry about that for now. This is going to serve as kind of a stopgap until I can fully implement a tutorial which goes over all these things, but I'm just going to go over the basics in this video. There are 3 main modes at this point. One is Onslaught. It allows just endless waves of enemies to spawn somewhere outside of your particular area, close in on you and attack you. There's Free Build mode. That lets you build to your heart's content. You're not going to be attacked. Go ahead and that's a good way to at least learn the game and figure out, or just build some cool stuff. And then Siege mode, which you'll have a pre-built castle that guys will then come and attack, and it's your job to defend it. There is also another, well, it's a part of Onslaught, but if anyone is interested to learn the combat at least, the Amphitheater is a good place to do that. It'll just spawn the single king that you've created in the profile menu, and it will spawn in enemies for you to fight and get used to the combat system. I'm going to showcase the combat system a little bit, but I'm not going to do it in the Amphitheater mode. I'm going to do it in free build mode just because you're constantly attacked in that other mode, and it doesn't really, it doesn't lend itself to, what am I trying to say here? You get attacked so much you can't really talk and focus on the game at the same point, or at least I can't. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I know I've said this in prior videos, but let alone the audio quality and the video quality, until I figure out the settings and do a few more of these videos, you know, you can kind of tell that. But anyway, here's the game. So right now we have our king here, and we got a bunch of villagers around him with random gear on to start at least. The things I want to cover here, let's see. If you hit the tilde, actually the first place, before I do anything else, is the H button. If you hit the H button, this is going to show you all the default keys. That's a great place to start if you're not sure, you want to figure things out. Got all the attack buttons over here on the mouse, and then all the buttons on the keyboard. It's pretty standard for any RPG and Pretty standard for any RTS. But if you're stuck at any point, look at this. It'll give you a lot of info. The next key I'd like to talk about, let's see, there's a debug mode. If you hit the tilde or the little, well, the button under the escape key, whatever the hell that thing's called. So if you hit that, it brings up FPS counter, time since played, and then a little thing where you can enter in various debug commands. I use that a lot more for testing and just to speed up the process, spawning enemies, things like that. Not really that important, but it's there should you want to check that out. So it handles just like an RTS. You can select a bunch of units, right click to tell them to go to a bunch of places, or left click to select, say, an individual unit. At any time, you can hit this button here. This is the possession button, or you can hit P on the keyboard, and that will allow you to possess one of your followers. Now, just like any other, WASD to move, shift to run, control to crouch. Now, it's also important, X is to jump. The spacebar unlocks so you can see right now there is no cursor on the screen and it allows me to rotate the player. But if I hit the spacebar, now my mouse is free and I can do whatever I want. So let's unpossess. Let's click that button again. And there you go. Also, if you are possessed or you're not possessed and you want to change the camera, let's say you'd like an overhead view, you can do that. You can rotate around. That is the clicking down the center, what is this? Scroll wheel. That's what this thing's called. You click that down and move around. You can rotate. You scroll it down, you can go all the way to the floor, or you can go up to your heart's content infinitely. There is a map up there, but I suppose I'll focus on that a different time. So let's see. If I possess a follower, let's run her out a little bit. Left clicking is going to be your quick attack. You can see she has a two-handed sword. Actually, I'd rather have somebody with a shield for this. Tab switches once again. But, so if you left click, that's your quick attack. If you click down the center mouse wheel, that's going to be a parry. If you click the right mouse button, that's going to do your blocks. And if you click the E button, that's going to be a slower but heavier attack that does more damage. Also, there's the R button, which if you have any spells, that'll allow you to cast them. And the F button is an action button, just like setup, and X as well as jump. Since the space bar ultimately is your unlock and relock the mouse for movement. Let's see. Those are the basic combats. Oh, yeah, one more important thing. Let's give this guy a bow as well. Possess him once again. And if you go up and down on the scroll wheel, it switches to his secondary weapons over in his inventory. I suppose I'll go over this left menu more in detail, but I just wanted to quickly mention that in terms of buttons and things like that. So you hold down the left mouse button, you have a bow, for example, aim it, and then shoot it at some bad guys, which we're not really worried about because there aren't going to be any in this map. But at least that's there. Anything else I want to cover? Oh, yes. Over here is your health. Now, instead of having just one health bar, you have separate health bars for each portion of your body. You have a head, left arm, right arm, torso, and then 2 legs, and also an endurance bar. So if your endurance goes down too much, your attacks become slower. You can't run as fast, things like that. Which, every time you do any type of action, swing the sword a bunch, do a heavy attack, it's going to take down some of your endurance, and then slowly build back up over time. Do I want to cover... You have your action menu down here, attack, defend. Well, I should mention attack. You click attack and then click on a specific point. If there is a person there, which there aren't going to be in this mode, it'll go and attack that specific area. If you want to defend a specific point, click the defend button, or if you want the person to patrol a certain area, and they'll just go ahead and follow whatever your desires happen to be. There's a retreat button. They will retreat. If you have some guy, say, over in the corner somewhere doing whatever, and you want him to come back to your settlement, just click this automatically. You'll do that. You want him to go to his house, which I'll get into buildings later, but at least to cover it from here, you have your house button down here, or home button. Clicking that will automatically have him figure out his way to get home, and then an idle button to just stop whatever you're doing. These buttons, let's see, the first one is your axe button, so clicking this on someone, let's have this lady. Clicking the collect resources, she'll go run off and chop down some trees. This one you can collect stone, and then the last one will be building, and I'll get more into this later, but let's check, not occupations, but the actual aggressive. So instead of using these buttons, you can set a preset for various people. Let's say I want these two guys, or just use two. I want you two guys to be in a, I don't know, line formation. It's only two guys, so it's not going to make that great of a line. But anyway, they're in a line. You can set their aggression. So they have shields, they have swords. I want them to be pretty aggressive. These are the guys who are going to defend, while this guy is going to flee from danger. Anytime this guy gets attacked, he'll run back home. Anytime these guys see an enemy, they'll go run after him. Stay in formation, they'll stay close to whatever formation you happen to set. Ignore enemies is good. Say you have someone that you want strictly to go out and collect resources. Just click this button here and they'll ignore any enemies unless they get ultimately really close to them if they're targeting that particular enemy. There's a mini map in the corner. There's a left and right menu which you can get to by either pressing F2 or by hitting this little left arrow here. Brings up things like info, inventory, statistics, and their family, which this guy doesn't have one at this point. It's just two unknowns because they're not, he doesn't have a family yet, simply put. You have your build info, your build button, then let's see, this one's going to be the command tab, research, and then production, which I'll get more into later when it comes to building and starting your first village. For now, I guess that's good in terms of what I wanted to show. Yeah, so let's just show the combat a little bit. Now, I went over the buttons and how they operate, but I'm just going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do once again. So, we have only our king. He's in a nice little arena. I select him, then I hit P, and immediately it spawns in a skeleton who will begin by firing arrows at me. So, let's see if we can hit him. Nope, way off. And he's tagging me. Okay. Sword and shield time then. Let's get in nice and close. So, we have our quick attack. Come on, kill him. There we go. Right. And you can see there's a bunch of arrows sticking in my guy. So I think that's a good place to end it. Thanks a lot for watching, and next time I'll do buildings and some other stuff. Maybe start just a small village. Build a couple of weapons, do some research, things like that. Well, my guy gets completely destroyed by the next level guy. But there you go. Game over, we lose. Thanks a lot for watching.